Hey, it's Tommy the Butcher for Wise Guys Barbecue, coming at you with a new exciting video today. We did the Italian classic steak pizzaiola. I'm gonna show you how you can do this at home. But before we get started, please like, share, subscribe, ring that notification bell so you will not miss an episode. Stick around, we're cooking together. All right, let's get started with our steak pizzaiola. Now, this is not a very complicated dish. Just get all set up, get yourself organized, there's minimal ingredients, and put it all together, get it in the oven, and we're good to go. So let's talk about our mise en place that we have set up here, first of all. Now, for this cook today, we're using our tenderloin steaks, our filet steaks. If you watched our previous video where we did a beef tenderloin breakdown to show you how we get the Chateaubriand, how we get that chain ripped off of there, we ended up with 13 fillets. That's what we're using for our steak pizzaiola today. I have 13 fillets, and we dry brine those. So we salted them yesterday, so they've been dry brining for 24 hours, so that's gonna develop that nice crust because all that moisture is gone. So the rest of the ingredients for this is very, very simple. We're gonna have onion, we're gonna have some garlic, we're gonna add some fresh basil, and I've got some whole canned San Marzano tomatoes. It's 2 cans here, 28 ounces each can, and we're gonna hand crush those. I'm gonna hand crush those as I put them in, because that'll give us that nice texture. And then a twist that I'm gonna do with this, I'm gonna add some pepperoni. I'm gonna cut that up in 1-inch chunks. We're gonna add that to the sauce, the braising liquid. After all, we're doing a steak pizzaiola. Now, what does pizzaiola mean, you're wondering? Pizzaiola is basically in the style of pizza. It can also mean a pizza maker, but we're doing a pizzaiola in the style of pizza. So now you understand where this pepperoni is coming from. I'm gonna add that. Once we finish the dish, we're gonna finish it with a garnish of some fresh chopped parsley, and I'm gonna do some freshly grated Parmigiano Reggiano. Not only am I gonna finish it off with a freshly grated Parmigiano Reggiano, see that rind? Don't throw that out. I'm gonna cut that off right now. And you know where this is going? Right into our sauce. That's just gonna add more flavor. So enough said, let's get going here. We're gonna start off preheating our oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. We're using a large Dutch oven. Now, if you don't have one of these enamel covered cast iron Dutch ovens, you can use anything so long as it's able to be transferred into the oven. It's important that it's oven proof because we're gonna build all this stuff on the stovetop. We're gonna get it into the oven to do the braise, and you're gonna need something that'll accommodate that. All right, we're gonna go with medium heat, and I'm using an avocado oil. Now, avocado oil has a very, very high smoke point. It's ideal when you're doing any searing. Olive oil can burn. It has a lower smoke point. Butter, forget it. Butter will just burn up unless you're using clarified butter. All those milk proteins will just turn to toast, literally, in your pan. So I love avocado oil. It's got a neutral flavor, and it has a very, very high smoke point. So it's great for anything like this. So we're gonna get this pan up to about 300 degrees. And then I'm gonna add the oil, and I'm gonna start searing these steaks off. All right, pot is coming up to heat. I'm gonna add about 3 tablespoons of avocado oil. Get that all swirled around so it's evenly coated. And like I said, these fillets were dry brine, so you can see that they take on a different color as you're dry brining. So don't let that scare you. These are gonna be delicious. And when we're doing this, whenever you're searing in a Dutch oven, in a hot pan, do not crowd the meat in there. If it's crowded, it's gonna end up steaming because a lot of liquid will be cooking off the protein, the meat. So you wanna have it spread out in there. Give it enough room to do its thing correctly. Our Dutch oven is at 400 degrees. We're gonna get this meat in. We have 13 steaks here, so I'm gonna do it in 2 batches. You can hear that sizzle. Whenever you're searing meat off, such as this, you don't wanna be playing with it a lot. Let it do its thing. Relax, let it take its time to form that crust, that Maillard reaction. You don't wanna be jostling this around too much in there. And you actually will know when it's time to flip it because it'll begin to release itself. Here we go. And that was only a couple of minutes. All right, these are looking great. Another thing that's great about this recipe, you don't have to use tenderloin steaks. You can use a very inexpensive cut of meat, such as a chuck steak, any round steak, bottom round, top round, eye round. Anything like that will do much better, as a matter of fact, because it's going to go through that slow braising process for a period of time. Another thing I want to know, if you are going with a less expensive cut of meat, if you're using a chuck steak or a round steak, like I said, you're going to have to braise this. This is going to be about an hour to maybe even 2 hours in the oven. And you want to keep checking until the meat is fork tender. You'll know as soon as you take a fork and place it into the meat, if that goes through like butter, if it feels like butter, you're done. These tenderloins, because it's a very, very tender cut of meat, we're not going to need to braise this in the oven for 2 hours. It'll just probably disintegrate. So this is going to be a very quick one. With the tenderloins, it's probably going to be about an hour tops, I would say, in the oven at 350. All right, these are looking great. I'm going to remove them. I'm going to put them back on the rack, and I'm going to finish up with the remaining steak. And next up, we're going to get some onion in there. I got one large onion. I'm going to thinly slice. In we go with the onion. Now we're just looking to get a little color on these. Now as they begin to sweat, a lot of the moisture is going to exude from these onions, and it's going to create just enough moisture where it'll begin to deglaze all the brown bits, all that fond that is in the bottom of the pot. So all this color that you see in the bottom of the pot, that is all flavor. Okay, well the onions are doing their thing. Next we're going to go in with, I have 6 cloves of garlic, and we're just going to slice those up thinly. Give these a stir. Okay, at this point I am going to season these onions a little bit because there was really not much in there. A little salt, a little fresh cracked pepper, not much. All right, next we're going to add our garlic. And at the same time we add our garlic, we're going to put in a sprig or a few leaves of fresh basil. In it goes. All right, once that garlic becomes fragrant, we're going to add about a cup of dry white wine. And that'll release some of that fond that's at the bottom of the pot as well. And we're going to let this reduce till it's almost gone. We don't want to see much liquid at all present in the bottom of your pot. So at this point you can crank up the heat just a little bit. Now I'm up to about a medium high so that all that wine can begin to reduce and evaporate. All right, so we're almost there getting the wine reduced. We got a little ways to go. But now's the perfect time to take care of our tomatoes. Now these are whole canned San Marzano peeled tomatoes. I like to get the whole ones and crush them by hand because it'll always give you a nice texture. It'll give you a little bit more texture to the sauce rather than getting a pureed tomato. So whenever you do this, try to get something deep, a deep bowl, because it's very easy to be squeezing this and have, you'll be decorating your whole kitchen with tomato juice, because this will squirt unless your hand is totally submerged into the juice. It helps to do this in the sink as well. If you have a deep sink, place the bowl right into the sink and do this, because otherwise you're gonna have a mess. All right, our wine is just about evaporated, and as you can see, the bottom of this pot is no longer brown. All that flavor, that fond, they call it fond, is all part of the onions now. It's absorbed all that. So it's picking up all those flavors. All right, now we're ready for the tomatoes. I'm gonna go in with the tomatoes. All right, let's get that all stirred up. Now, I don't know if you can see this, but you can see the texture in here. And some of that texture, some of those chunks will cook down during the braise. So we're looking for a sauce that has a little bit body to it, something that's more firm than just a runny, soupy-like sauce. I'm gonna crank the heat up a little bit more now. And that Parmigiano Reggiano rind that we cut off, we're gonna use that. We're not gonna waste that. In it goes. That's another layer of flavor. All right, at this point we wanna bring it back to a low boil, actually a simmer. before we add the steaks back in. We're gonna be adding this pepperoni on top of that before we get it into the oven. So I just wanna see this coming to a little bit of a simmer before we proceed to the next step. All right, these tomatoes have returned to a simmer. We're getting ready to throw our steaks in there. I wanna check for seasoning first of all. We are gonna need a little salt, even though I'm gonna put that pepperoni in there. A little salt, a little fresh cracked black pepper. All right, I'm gonna be placing all these steaks in there one at a time. I'm gonna spread them out so they're at a single layer, nothing doubled up. All right, as I said, we're gonna do this pepperoni. This is optional. You don't have to do this, but I'm gonna cut them up in about, I don't know, 1/2 inch to 1 inch chunks. Sprinkle them in there. Now, I don't know if you've ever made a sauce, or as we call it here in Rhode Island, gravy. If you've never put chunks of pepperoni in it, give it a shot because it adds tremendous flavor. All right, I'm gonna go get these tucked down so they're covered in the tomato. All right, I gotta place a lid on the pot. We got an oven preheated to 350 degrees. We're gonna get this in the oven. All right, we're gonna come back and check on these in about an hour and see how the tenderness is. And we'll see you then. Stick around, don't go anywhere. All right, our steak, Pizzaiola has been in here for about an hour and 10 minutes. We're gonna check for tenderness. Now, one thing to note is this recipe isn't all about time. It's about tenderness. And the only way you're gonna know whether or not your steak is tender is giving it a fork test. If you can stick your fork in there and it goes through like butter, you're good to go. Oh yeah, we're good. So, I'm gonna get this out. Like I said, we use tenderloins, which predominantly isn't used for steak pizzaiola. So those cook up pretty quickly. They're very, very tender. All right, we're gonna get this out. Great color development. That sauce is looking fantastic at this point. We're gonna let it rest for about 15 minutes. All right, it's all rested up here. Now we're gonna get it all plated up. And the first thing you gotta do is get some of this sauce. I'm just gonna put a bed of sauce right along the bottom. Now this tomato sauce, it concentrated during that 1 hour braise. And you can see it's kind of dried up a little bit. It's gonna be very rich and flavorful. Get all the steaks and place them right on top. So there you have it. We're gonna finish it off a little bit. We're gonna go with a drizzle of fresh olive oil and some shaved Parmigiano Reggiano, some chopped fresh parsley, and there's some pepperoni at the bottom of this pot. I'm just gonna throw this out here too. Voila, there you have it, steak pizzaiola. All right, folks, before I dig into this, I just want to let you know that this is a relatively simple meal you can make at home. It doesn't take a lot of time. It doesn't take a lot of ingredients. And you can do this for your family, for your friends as well. So this is staring me in the face. We've been here in southern New England for the last 48 hours, stuck inside with this blizzard we've had. So it's time to eat and have some fun. Now, if you notice, I got all the pepperoni that we put into the dish is straight out across the front of this. I don't know if you ever had a tomato sauce or a gravy with pepperoni in it, but see those things, those nuggets, those are to die for. Think of those as a burnt end in barbecue. That's the burnt end in tomato sauce. Here goes. Oh, that is absolutely, the steak is tender. That rich tomato sauce, the onion, the garlic, all those flavors are coming together. I mean, I want to take a bath in that sauce. All right, the pepperoni, you got to try this. This is something special. That's a killer. Absolutely delicious. This actually can be done as a weeknight meal. If you have a couple hours, you can put this together, no problem whatsoever. So, I hope you like what we did for you today. I'm Tommy the Butcher for Wise Guys Barbecue. Please like, share, subscribe, ring that notification bell so you will not miss an episode. Thanks for watching. I can't wait to see you next time.